you worried you ruined your legacy, Kanye? How?
Yeah, well, stop. I'm not worried. I'm just not worried, period. Southtown made it down here, boy. Somebody from the crib made it down here, boy. My family was taken away from me. My reputation has been smeared to be made to not be a billionaire in front of everyone off of one comment. Everybody wants to know what I would do if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
A Reddit page that's described as a bloodbath. A once billionaire now struggling with finances. A tattoo studio even offering to remove tattoos of this person for free. All are the outcomes of the recent statements from Kanye West.
My family was taken away from me. My reputation has been smeared.
Award-winning rapper, billionaire fashion mogul, except now a dark shadow has been cast on the man that people once regarded as a mad genius of sorts. People thought that Kanye was gonna revolutionize something, change the world in some way, and now most people regard him the same way they regard their rapist and deranged uncles at Thanksgiving dinner. They roll their eyes and groan whenever he starts talking. So how did Kanye West destroy his reputation and transform into an unrecognizable figure? Was this side of Kanye West always there, just lurking in the shadows? Or is this side of Kanye West something new? Did Kanye West fall down a rabbit hole that led him to white supremacist beliefs and anti-Semitic thoughts? What led to the tragic public transformation of Kanye West?
When you hear about for 400 years, for 400 years, that sounds like a choice.
Especially in today's world, the public decides what celebrity is worthy of being bolstered up as a voice of influence. And celebrities with great influence have a lot of power behind their words. Once someone is deemed an icon, their word is taken like gospel to all those who perceive their excellence. And Kanye was once regarded as an icon who inspired millions with his art. And the recent transformation of Kanye West really makes me wonder, is it dangerous to look up to and admire public figures, or can you separate the art from the artist? In a culture that is fueled by hate and division, we cannot ignore figures like Kanye West who add to this divide. Whether they are dealing with severe mental health problems, which Kanye himself has continued to deny but those closest to him have alluded to, or whatever the cause of someone's harmful rhetoric comes from, if they have influence, money, and power, there is so much responsibility that comes along with it that shouldn't be used for selfish reasons. Kanye West is undoubtedly a talented artist, but he's also a selfish one who used his talent, power, and authority to continue lifting himself up as a godlike genius public figure. Hi friends and fellow internet acquaintances, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today's video is on the tragic public transformation of Kanye West. If you like these sort of topics and want to see more videos of mine, don't forget to subscribe, and if you like this video, give it a like if you want to. This video does cover a lot of very sensitive topics that could be upsetting to watch and listen to. This video will also have a lot of censorship in it, so YouTube does not hate me. But hopefully when I censor a word, you can still understand through context clues what I'm talking about. While this video isn't about how Kanye rose to fame and every single detail in his career that's ever happened, because we would be here for like 6 hours, to truly understand the evolution of Kanye's career and the way that the public responded to Kanye, we have to examine how Kanye got to this point and where he came from. Born in Atlanta and raised in Chicago, West initially gained recognition as a producer for Rockefeller Records in the early 2000s. West founded the record label and production company make good music in 2004 in conjunction with Sony BMG. Kanye has openly spoken about being exploited in the music industry, as of late blaming it on a specific group of people who exploited him.
The music industry is set up for you to have just enough money to afford a car, pay for your kids, a house, and be on tour for the rest of your life till you die.
In a podcast interview, West insinuated that he was really just the face of the record label that he founded, and that the executives of that label took advantage of him.
The music and the media that black people make, that record labels get paid off of.
All the assholes that you over in the music industry, artists over in the music industry, are individuals. They're not Jews.
It seems like early in West's career, he was an extremely talented artist, but had little experience on the business side of things, which is the case with a lot of artists and musicians, and leads to them being easily exploited in the music industry, unfortunately. But regardless of West's exploitation, he had an extremely successful music career. West had received critical acclaim for his diverse and yet unique style of music production. West explored diverse musical elements like orchestras, synthesizers, and autotune on the albums Late Registration, Graduation, and 808s and Heartbreak. His fifth and sixth studio albums, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and Yeezus, also received critical and commercial success. West further diversified his musical styles on The Life of Pablo and Ye, and explored Christian gospel music on Jesus is King. His highly anticipated 10th album Donda was released to continue commercial success, but to mixed critical reception. He released its sequel, Donda 2, a few months later, exclusively through a tie-in audio speaker service. West's discography also includes the two full-length collaborative albums Watch the Throne with Jay-Z and Kids See Ghosts with Kid Cudi. One thing that I do think is very important to point out is that West's music from early on had tones of black liberation and empowerment within them, something his late mother Donda spoke of educating him on throughout his childhood.
We grew up very aware of racism in this country. The political activity was all about making sure that whatever was not just became just.
Kanye's mom and dad played a huge role in molding Kanye.
Though Kanye West's music was highly regarded, his fame really rose through his public controversial statements. Similar to the Kardashians and other controversial figures that we've talked about on this channel, the Kanye West people are familiar with today rose to fame and infamousy through outrage publicity, through saying shocking statements that a lot of people talked about and covered in the media, gaining him free publicity and attention. The only key difference of the Kanye in the past and the Kanye of today is that the tone of the things he said has changed drastically. In an August 2005 interview with Sway Calloway of MTV News, West spoke out against homophobia in the hip-hop industry.
Hip-hoppers discriminate against gay people. I wanted to just come on TV and just tell my rappers, just tell my friends, like, yo, stop it, fam. Like seriously, that's really discrimination. To me, that's exactly what they used to do to black people. I'm just trying to tell people, just stop all that.
The following month, during a benefit concert for Hurricane Katrina relief on NBC, he deviated from the prepared script to criticize the media's portrayal of and the federal response to black victims of the hurricane.
I hate the way they portray us in the media. If you see a black family, it says they're looting. See a white family, it says they're looking for food. And you know, it's been 5 days because most of the people are black. And even for me to complain about, I would be a hypocrite because I've tried to turn away from the TV because it's too hard to watch. I've even been shopping before even giving a donation. So now I'm calling my business manager right now to see what is the biggest amount I can give. George Bush doesn't care about black people.
While a lot of people were sort of upset by this statement or shocked at the brutal honesty that Kanye had the courage to say at that time, he also gained a lot of credibility for saying something that a lot of people were too afraid to say, especially a lot of celebrities who had a lot of power and influence at the time but weren't speaking up.
When I see people like John Legend and Chrissy Teigen talk down on the president, I'm like, wow, that kind of sounds like me. That kind of sounds like the telethon. I opened up this level of disrespect towards our leaders. And people were happy, and the left saw that and said, well, let's just have every celebrity do what Ye did at the telethon.
And in a way, I think this was the time when people started to see him as a celebrity for the people in a way. They regarded him as someone who had the courage to call out officials and other people who are failing. And because of that, people labeled him a genius and started to really admire him. But during the early 2000s, there were still certainly things that Kanye West did that angered everyone. During the 2009 MTV Video Music Awards, while Taylor Swift was accepting her award for Best Female Video for You Belong With Me, West went on stage and grabbed the microphone to proclaim that Beyoncé's video for Single Ladies was one of the best videos of all time.
I always dreamed about what it would be like to maybe win one of these someday, but I never actually thought that would have happened. I sing country music, so thank you so much for giving me a chance to win a VMA award.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time.
Like Kanye, everyone knows that Beyonce is the GOAT. You don't have to tell people. Because of this, Kanye was removed from the rest of the show for his actions. West was criticized by celebrities for this outburst and was also criticized by President Obama, who called West a jackass.
The young lady seems like a perfectly nice person. She's getting her award. What's he doing?
Why would he do that?
He's a jackass.
Even though a lot of people didn't regard Kanye's statements towards Taylor as a particularly kind thing to do, to Kanye's fans, it was yet again proof that Kanye was willing to say what no one else wanted to say. And because his actions were so different from the celebrity that people were used to, they wondered if he was a mad genius of sorts.
The man is a genius. Musical genius, lyrical genius.
So Kanye West quickly became one of the most famous figures in the music industry. But it seems that most of Kanye's wealth didn't come from the music industry, but actually came from the business ventures he started later on, particularly his ventures into the fashion industry. In December of 2013, Adidas announced the beginning of their official apparel collaboration with West, and the line was a massive success, particularly the Yeezy sneakers. And Kanye West, to his credit, was able to successfully transition his music success into commercial success in the fashion industry. According to thefashionlaw.com, Kanye West has net $191 million in royalties from the Yeezy collab. Bloomberg reported, citing the UBS report, that Yeezy sneakers generate about $1.5 billion in annual sales for Adidas, or roughly 7% of Adidas' total annual revenue, just in Yeezy sneakers. On top of that, Kanye started a Yeezy line with Gap, and based on the investment bank and financial services company, Gap expected its Yeezy line to break $150 million in sales in its first full year in 2022, and exceed $1 billion in 2023. So a lot of brands in the fashion industry became heavily involved in the Yeezy line and in Kanye West. Since Kanye was so successful in the fashion industry, he was once again labeled a genius, able to revolutionize companies like Adidas and Gap, who had gone stale for a few years.
The man is a genius, fashion icon. He can wear a rubber shirt, and you're gonna wear it. 'Cause that's how how influential he is.
Not to speculate too much into the mind of Kanye, but from interviews, it seems that Kanye had a lot of disdain for his time in the music industry. Kanye also admires public figures like Elon Musk and Steve Jobs and holds himself in the same regards as an inventor of sorts.
The reason why Elon Musk is like a Steve Jobs is if he makes a flamethrower, he would use that flamethrower. If he makes a Cybertruck, he would use that Cybertruck. Me, if I make some 3D printed boots, you know, I'm gonna have the 3D printed boots on.
So it seems that to Kanye, his desires were always to be a pioneer, a business inventor, as opposed to an artist. And throughout the years, Kanye has tried to start quite a few businesses. In 2008, West revealed plans to open 10 Fatburger restaurants in the Chicago area. His company, KW Foods LLC, bought the rights to the chain in Chicago. Ultimately, though, in 2009, only 2 locations actually opened, and by 2011, both of those locations were shut down. On January 5th of 2012, West announced his establishment of the creative content company Donda, named after his late mother, Donda West. In his announcement, West proclaimed that the company would pick up where Steve Jobs left off, and that Donda would operate as a design company which will galvanize amazing thinkers in a creative space to bounce their dreams and ideas. Even though the company technically still exists today, West is notoriously secretive about the company's operations, maintaining neither an official website nor a social media presence. So I can't really tell you what Donda does, or if it's doing well, or really doing anything at all. Then, most recently, in October 17th of 2022, it was announced that West had entered into a purchase agreement to acquire the alt-tech microblogging service Parler.
Most recently, it was announced that he is making a bid or a deal at some stage to acquire the conservative social media platform Parler, which is right now offline.
Parler is a known right-wing social media app, so I also think it's important to say that through acquiring Parler, Kanye's political views and statements that gather publicity can also have a vested business interest for him and a suspected payout. Romantically, Kanye was always self-admittedly a little bit of a playboy, but that all finally changed when he connected with his dream woman, Kim Kardashian. In May of 2014, West and Kardashian were married in a private ceremony in Florence, Italy, with a variety of artists and celebrities in attendance. Together, they had 4 children, and West seemed for a little while to settle into the identity of a family man.
What's the best part about being a dad?
The kids.
But behind the scenes, it seemed that there was more turmoil than the family let on, and the state of West's mental health began to come into question. In early 2016, West again became embroiled in controversy for his controversial statements when Kanye posted a tweet seemingly asserting that Bill Cosby is innocent, in the wake of over 50 women claiming that he sexually assaulted them. And though it happened slowly, you can see that the type of controversial statements that Kanye was making changed drastically, from standing up for gay rights and black rights to all of a sudden going against people who have been oppressed. And this pattern continued in May of 2018, when West caused controversy over a topic where he yet again went against the people and began further victim blaming. And trigger warning, because this is a really upsetting statement. Kanye West said during an appearance on TMZ,
You hear about for 400 years? For 400 years? That sounds like a choice. Like, you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all?
You're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to believe whatever you want. But there is fact and real world, real life consequence behind everything that you just said. And while you are making music and being an artist and living the life that you've earned by being a genius, the rest of us in society have to deal with these in our lives. We have to deal with the marginalization that's come from the 400 years of slavery that you said for our people was a choice. Every day we have to walk into that truth while you choose to say things that, to be honest with you, dog, are nonsensical.
So people were rightfully upset by that statement. West responded to the controversy on Twitter, saying, "Of course I know that slaves did not get shackled and put on a boat by free will. My point is, for us to have stayed in that position, even though the numbers were on our side, means that we were mentally enslaved. The reason why I brought up the 400 years point is that we can't be mentally imprisoned for another 400 years. We need free thought now." Even the statement was an example of free thought. It was just an idea. Once again, I'm being attacked for presenting new ideas. That's not a new idea, Kanye. Unfortunately, people have said things like that for years. There was a long time where West was praised for presenting new ideas in his career, whether it was some of his controversial statements, new concepts in music, and new ideas in the fashion industry. But once the year 2016 hit, West was no longer being praised for his new ideas, or at least the public was way less enthusiastic about them. What I think West and the public didn't realize was happening, but slowly was that he stopped being a voice for the public. He stopped speaking up about important current issues and instead started blaming people who were speaking out about these issues. And looking back at the history of Kanye, this is a drastic change in core belief that slowly got worse and worse over time. But it seems like on top of Kanye's core principle changes, his mental health was at an all-time low during this time. In his song FML and his featured verse in Vic Mensa's song You Mad, he refers to using the antidepressant medication Lexapro. And in his song I Feel Like That, which hasn't been officially released, he mentions feeling many common symptoms of depression and anxiety. And these songs had all been recorded during West's recording session for his 2016 album Life of Pablo. So it seems that Kanye West was going through a mental health struggle that slowly changed his perception of things, and that reached a height in 2016. On November 19th, 2016, before abruptly ending a concert prematurely, Kanye said, "Jay-Z, I know you got killers. Please don't send them at my head."
It's a new world, Jay-Z. Hey, don't send at my head, bro. This ain't the Malcolm X movie. We growing from that moment.
And the following day, Kanye was committed to the UCLA Medical Center with hallucinations and paranoia. But contrary to early reports, West was not taken to the hospital involuntarily, but was persuaded to do so by authorities. While the episode was first described as one of temporary psychosis caused by sleep deprivation and dehydration, West's mental state was abnormal enough for his 21 canceled concerts to be covered by his insurance policy. Kanye was reportedly paranoid and depressed throughout his hospitalization, but remained formally undiagnosed. And some have speculated that the traumatic Paris robbery of his wife may have triggered his paranoia, which, I mean, going through a trauma that severe, I can only imagine what that would do to someone's psyche. West was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 2016, though his diagnosis was not made public until his 2018 album Ye. But months after the album, he told former President Donald Trump that it was a misdiagnosis. There were reports that he again accepted the diagnosis in 2019, but in 2022, he again suggested that it wasn't the right diagnosis.
I do 4 more shows on a second leg of the tour, and I suffer from exhaustion and go to the hospital, and then get diagnosed with a disorder. My issue is I've had mental health allegations.
So do you believe that you have any form of mental illness?
I believe that I suffered from exhaustion. I suffered from being lied to constantly by the people around me. And I believe those things can drive anyone to a point of maximum exhaustion. But I also believe that I'm extremely brilliant and I'm here to make the world a better place. And I'm tired of the left media trying to pick on me.
In a 2018 interview, West declared that he became addicted to opioids when they were prescribed to him after he got liposuction, and the addiction may have contributed to his nervous breakdown in 2016, though I am certainly no expert in mental health or addiction.
I was addicted to opioids.
I had plastic surgery because I was trying to look good for y'all.
In late 2018, Kanye West purchased 2 ranches near Cody, Wyoming, where he recorded his 8th solo album, Ye, and also went on to found his own church. Though in the fall of 2021, Kanye began the process of selling the ranch. Another string of controversies surrounding Kanye's statements hit in 2020, when Kanye announced that he'd be running for president.
I have decided in 2020 to run for president.
Though his presidential run didn't last very long, and one could say failed miserably.
A source tells ET Kanye West is ending his 2020 campaign for president of the United States just 11 days after announcing his run on Twitter.
During his campaign rallies and on Twitter, Kanye West said a lot of what I can only assume are hurtful and very invasive things into the personal life and marriage between him and Kim Kardashian.
So even if my wife were to divorce me after this speech, she brought North into the world, even when I didn't want to. She stood up and she protected that child. You know who else protected the child? Who do you think might have protected the child? 23 years ago, who do you think protected the child? My mom.
Then soon after, in January of 2021, CNN reported that the couple was considering divorce. And a month later, Kim Kardashian filed for divorce. Both West and Kardashian cited irreconcilable differences. Did I say that right? Irreconcilable? And agreed to joint custody of the 4 children. They also agreed that they did not need spousal support from each other. I can only imagine that, like many people, going through the divorce caused Kanye to experience more mental health struggles. Divorce is hard on anyone and for the whole family. And this brings us to Kanye of present day. Kanye West reached another low point in his life. After a very public divorce, his ex-wife moved on while he stayed stagnant. He lost public respect after running for president in 2020 and failing miserably. In so much of his life, Kanye lost his control. And Kanye hates being out of control. Soon after, Kanye began affiliating himself with Candace Owens, a right-wing spokesperson, I guess you could call her role, though technically on Google her title is American author. Soon Kanye began to voice his most controversial takes of all time. You could say Ye's latest controversies all started with an odd amount of shit posting on Instagram on Ye's part. He posted private text messages and personal information about his ex-wife Kim Kardashian, and even made her mother his profile pic for a period of time. He also talked crap publicly on his ex-wife's boyfriend at the time, and in a move that I've never seen a celebrity do before, he started posting and mocking executives within his respective industries and labeling them as either with him or against him. And for a while, this seemed to just entertain the public, who found most of his stunts bemusing and entertaining. But this all took a very odd and dark turn soon after. On October 3rd of 2022, during Kanye West's Yeezy Season 9 fashion show in Paris, West wore a shirt with the script White Lives Matter. According to the Anti-Defamation League, the phrase is a white supremacist slogan. Following the event, West made a post on his Instagram story stating, "Everyone know that Black Lives Matter was a scam. Now it's over, you're welcome." But apparently, Kanye West was not done yet. Not only did he want to completely end the Black Lives Matter movement, but he also wanted to go on Jewish people. So he tried to do that, I guess. But the thing is, according to reports, Kanye actually has a long history with anti-Semitic statements. During a radio interview on November 26, 2013, West explained why he believed that President Obama at the time had a problem with pushing policies in Washington. Black people don't have the same level of connections as Jewish people. We ain't Jewish. We don't get family that got money like that. A month later, West told a Chicago radio station, "I thought I was giving a compliment, but if anything, it came off more ignorant. I don't know how being told you you have money is an insult. But though West apologized, apparently behind the scenes he still held onto and spoke about his anti-Semitic beliefs. A business executive who worked for West told CNN that the artist created a hostile work environment, in part through his obsession with This executive told CNN Kanye spoke openly about reading Hitler's 1925 autobiographical manifesto. The executive also said that West expressed his admiration for the Nazis and Hitler for their use of propaganda. This individual stated that people in West's inner circle were fully aware of this obsession. I just keep thinking about the Kardashian family, and like, if this was really that big of a belief of his, and he openly talked about it, they must have known. 4 different sources also told CNN that West had originally suggested the title Hitler for his 2018 album that he eventually released as Ye. These sources, though, did not want to be named in the article, citing concern for professional retribution. And apparently, besides those in Ye's inner circle, most people had no clue on his particular stances. Since his statement in 2013, Kanye never said any anti-Semitic comments public again until 9 years later in 2022 with a random ass tweet that read, "I'm a bit sleepy tonight, but when I wake up, I'm going death on, in all caps, Jewish people." The funny thing is, I actually can't be anti-Semitic because black people are actually Jews.
When I put up the Con 3 tweet, I was outraged at this point.
What does Con 3 mean?
It's like level of
like, you know, actually when it's
like nuclear war shit.
I spelled it wrong. I have a tendency to do that. But com is actually that you're preparing to protect yourself.
On October 7th of 2022, West appeared to suggest in a post on Instagram that the rapper Puff Daddy is controlled by Jews. And in response, Instagram locked his account. After being unable to post on Instagram and previously not tweeting for almost 2 years, on October 8th, West tweeted he was going Con 3 on Jewish people, prompting media attention at once again outrageous statements that Kanye was making. The tweet was widely criticized as anti-Semitic. Believe it or not, I don't know why anyone would think that.
First of all, we Jew, so I can't be first of all.
And this tweet caused West to lose access to his Twitter account. On October 11th, Vice reported on unaired segments of an interview of West's by Fox News' Tucker Carlson, which contained West making several conspiratorial, racist, and anti-Semitic remarks.
I prefer my kids knew Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. At least it would come with some financial engineering.
And around the same time, it was announced that an episode of LeBron James's show, The Shop Uninterrupted, featuring West would not be released, as West had allegedly made anti-Semitic comments while recording the episode. On an October 17th episode of the podcast Drink Champs, recorded the day prior, West claimed that he was being targeted by the Jewish media and Zionist and said, "You really influenced me to get on this vibe, and as you know, I'm here to finish the job. I'm here to not back down. They should have never let you words get money."
What'd you say?
Would you say blacks is Jews?
Blacks are Jews also.
We gotta say we love Jewish people then. We love Jewish people. We got great.
But by the way, we haven't escaped the we still in it. Plan B. Plan we are still in the Holocaust.
And that same day, West alleged in a televised interview with News Nation's Chris Cuomo that he was being targeted by a Jewish underground media mafia, which also led to a confrontation with Cuomo.
I hear you made that point. Because the point is, here's why.
Don't cut me off, sir. Respect.
I've listened to it. You've made it several times. I'm not dismissing the point. I'm dismissing the suggestion that Jewish record producers are inherently bad and do bad things when, as you said, in your own family lineage would suggest, Jews have been fighting shoulder to shoulder with black Americans as part of the freedom battle since its inception. They've given their lives, they've given their money, they've given their political capital to help that cause, and you know that, and I'm sure you heard it from your parents. So the idea that somehow they're out to get black people is just demonstrably false. But I gotta go with that point, Ye, and I hope you appreciate the opportunity.
You make a final point. When I say that, you just want to make sure that I'm okay. It's about my health. It's not about
I do believe that your health should be a concern for you and that you take care.
Thank you. It's about my health. It's not about my truth.
It's not all about your health. I think that you believe these things, and that's a problem.
You know what? Do you think I felt free in this interview?
Felt free? You got a tremendous amount of time on the #1 show at News Nation. You should feel free.
Thank you for telling me how I should feel.
You just asked me. Yeah, good luck to you. I'll be watching.
And a few days after these comments, the Defense League protested in Los Angeles, hanging a banner that read, "Kanye is right about the Jews," which is further proof that Kanye's statements are not harmless and can influence a lot of people to spread more hate. Kanye West really went off the deep end, and once you go too far, there's no coming back. Of course, there is a very strong possibility that Kanye West is currently experiencing a manic episode, but since I'm not a psychologist, I don't really want to speculate on whether or not he is, and whether or not he should be held accountable for his statements if he is experiencing a manic episode. I think instead it's important to focus on the real life consequences when a celebrity spreads dangerous or hateful rhetoric, as well as why celebrities nowadays may start actually doing this more and more, because there is a certain power that you can gain from being extremely controversial. You get free publicity constantly, and there is a strong belief in Hollywood that all publicity is good publicity. You also get a small group of people with extreme beliefs who will blindly support you. You can also become involved in politics and further capitalize off of that, like through acquiring a political social media app like Parler. But most people can agree that Kanye West went too far this time, and for now, it seems that he's greatly paying the price. After Kanye's most controversial statements of all time, recently he has legally changed his name to Ye, and Ye's career has come massively crashing down in light of these remarks, with the rapper claiming he lost $2 billion in a day. $2 billion from the fallout after practically all brands cut ties with him.
Kanye's losing hundreds of millions of dollars as we speak. The list of companies, banks, and individuals who have cut ties with Kanye is getting longer by the day.
The rapper has put a pin on the construction of his Malibu home after losing a slew of deals, particularly with all the fashion brands affiliated with him. So tragic, I know. What is he gonna do without the Malibu house? This is because in response to his statements, Vogue, CAA, Balenciaga, Gap, and Adidas all terminated their collaborations, sponsorships, and relationships with West, which is a weird sort of situation because I'm sure that this drastic loss of financial power on West's part will be seen to his supporters as proof that Jewish people do have control over finances and that he's being blacklisted by Jewish people.
I want to talk about the Jewish comment. It's actually proving the exact point that I made.
But no, companies just know that the reality is that who they publicly support is a reflection on them. So companies just don't want to be affiliated with controversial people in general. And with the termination of his business relationships, West lost his billionaire status. Forbes estimated his reduced worth at $400 million, coming from his real estate, cash, his music catalog, and a 5% stake in ex-wife Kim Kardashian's shapewear firm, Skims. But Kanye West didn't only lose a fortune, literally, but also lost most of his supporters.
I don't weep for Ye, and you shouldn't either. There has always been black people willing to sell themselves, their people, and others out for a quick buck. So let Ye have the legacy he's earned for himself, a disgraceful one.
Kanye West has been labeled a genius, but lately people think they need to educate him on the history and hurt of his words.
You have to desperately study the lessons of history. In Germany, science was used to create atrocities.
We are still in the
But the thing is, Kanye West has been educated all his life by his late mother, Donda West. Kanye was raised on Black liberation ideology by his mother, Donda West, who was an activist turned English professor. Donda West also created a home adorned with African art, sculpture, statues, and hundreds of books, and had a parenting philosophy rooted in Black empowerment.
When Kanye was born, I was working at Morris Brown College and I was chair of the English department. We grew up very aware of racism in this country, and I was even arrested at the tender age of 6 for sitting in, demonstrating at a lunch counter in Oklahoma City.
I came from a military family. By the time I got to college, I joined the Black Panther Party.
We say power to the people.
The political activity was all about making sure that whatever was not just became just.
Kanye's mom and dad played a huge role in molding Kanye.
In a society where our legacy is surely the love of our forefathers, but also the hate of masters, it is important that parents consciously teach the love of self, the courage of Malcolm, the wisdom of Martin, the tenacity of Marcus, Donda wrote in Raising Kanye. And the saddest part of this entire story of the transformation of Kanye West is that his mother raised Kanye so differently than the man that he is today, and how she taught him to be different, only for Kanye to turn around and utilize the concept of Black liberation while preaching the gospel of white supremacy. Speech has become a reward. Just look at some of the most famous people on the internet now, and you can easily see that people are building massive brands off of spreading anger and rage. And usually there are no consequences to this rhetoric, besides, that is, the consequence of their ideology spreading. West probably thought the usual would happen when he made his remarks. There would be some form of outrage, his name would trend on Twitter and be talked about throughout tons of media platforms, and then people would go back to streaming The College Dropout. But that didn't happen this time. West is finally experiencing the consequences of his actions, but it shouldn't have taken West threatening violence against Jewish people for him to be held accountable. Using his platform to demean and belittle Black people should have been enough. And above all, my heart goes out to the late Donda West, the mother of Kanye, to which Kanye has used her namesake for albums and business ventures, but who raised Kanye to be so much better than the man he is today. And that's all for this video. Thank you so much if you made it to the end. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you made it to the end, comment "Rest in peace, Donda West" if you want to. As always, appreciate all the support and lovely comments that I get on every video. You really have no idea how much it means to me, and I hope you are all doing well. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!